Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It is Marvin speaking. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. I was at one of a friend's birthday last night. Got pretty hammered, but it was a good night. Pauline says, can't wait for part two. That is the Terry Daniels video. Oh my God. People, if you haven't seen it, please watch. I do comment on the podcaster who's actually talking to Terry. It's just unbelievable. I've never known a case like it. Right, Happy Nomad. Many people in Wax's comments say Ali and yourself gave the information to him, but you're saying it's the other way around. So I'm a little bit confused. Okay, so first of all, is that Dan O'Keefe was talking to Ali in the early days, but obviously, because he did what he did, Ali no longer basically discussed the case with him because, like I said, she was not going to put that video out. And at the end of the day, and all she did do is pass it on to the police. I certainly didn't know. I had information that something else happened to Jay, which I'm not going to discuss on here on YouTube, but the actual video itself was sent to Ali by email by Dan O'Keefe. So that's the story. We got the story obviously through him, to be honest with you, but I did have private messages, graphic private messages, which I couldn't put out there and obviously were sent on to the authorities. But like I said, I'll probably do something with Ali later to actually explain that. Bianca says, IMO, they're all scared to tell anything because the high people out there hope they all stay safe. I'm so sorry for the loss of this beautiful boy, says Bianca. I have a son from the same age, and that same year, the first also to the pain. I feel so much pain for the family. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, also to Spain. It's very, very difficult, especially that first year, and obviously the first year anniversary as well, because the time went so quick. Thank you, Bianca. Great message. Ian says, yep, and he mentioned this not long after Abe and Rocky were in Dublin. Too much of a coincidence for me, the Dan O'Keefe thing. Yeah, Ian, I believe it's true. I mean, the messages, I do respect. You have to respect the family and what you actually put out there about Jay, but I do believe something along those lines, due to having information before the Dan O'Keefe thing. Monica says this, the Scientology staff might have actually been intelligent operative covertly investigating the family. There are suspicious similarities between intelligence and the org. Monica, that's absolutely brilliant. The Amy Bradley case, because don't forget, the family tried to obviously sue the cruise line, didn't they, and failed and lied about a few things as well at the end of the day. So it did make me think, what is it about money? But I do think they are genuinely trying to find, obviously, Amy. Madeline Post says, Terry's story is nearly unbelievable, scary, and so sad. So very important because one, it's still going on. Two, it's very strong warning to our sometimes also naive young. Agreed. It's an example of how very easy it is to fall into the different honey traps used to abuse and then end up in hell. I hope many people will read her book, Passport to Hell. Yeah, I will definitely read it. Thank you very much, Madeline Post. Carney, end of part one. When DD says she's happy, she's talked to Jay that night. What night is she even talking about? Do you know, Carney, that's a really good point because, like I said, we wasn't really given that time she actually talked to Jay. And I'm sure it doesn't really tally up with the last night, even though she was talking about that day. I just don't quite believe it. I really don't, because a lot of people still believe Jay may have gone the day before that. And sometimes you're afraid, you're getting messages. We don't know what other phone calls she actually received that are nightmarish or really, really horrible. And that was the reasons why she didn't speak up. Judy said, I seem to remember Ali said it was definitely Jay Marvin. What all that Ali said about them all going to Scotland with Debbie was untrue. No, it was true, 100%. We've got the receipts for that. The guy who basically has got a barber's salon there. Yeah, we've got receipts on that, and those phone calls definitely basically were made by Ali, and it was confirmed that they were all in there. But we'll discuss that a bit later on, people, in a live. Joe Jones says, yes, I believe when in the club, maybe Lucy did have second thoughts, and that time maybe she liked Jay a bit more than we thought. But then again, she is cold-hearted and callous, definitely, and has been well groomed into what to say and how to act. This is not the first person she has tried to lure over there. There were other two lads years ago, Ryan Cooney, who won't talk. That's a massive problem, that is, about what happened to him. Maybe he was also used and abused so badly it traumatized him. Just my thoughts. His father reached out to Debbie too, and she refused to help whatsoever. In fact, I don't even think she replied. Whoever is at the top of the chain has seriously and deeply silenced all involved, including Debbie, along Warren's Act, Sluggy and CT are implementing this. Lucy was just lying through her teeth. And yes, covering for the main ones in charge or lose her life. Lots of money silenced, all involved. And I mean all. Interesting stuff. Great points, Joe. I agree. And like I said, the underworld is deeper than what we first thought. At the time when Dan put out this video, I said in the comments, what video? And Ali replied to me, they had verified it by other people. Dan never replied. It was Ali who replied to my comments. What we'll do, Samantha, we will definitely talk about this discussion and we'll get all the facts out on it. I never was keen on Dan O'Keefe, always seemed to be going the extra mile to for clicks and never once seemed to care about how his words affected Jay's family. It's true, Serendipity. To be honest, I did like Dan O'Keefe until he said what he did. I do think it was a bit of a to get attention in what he did do, but I do think he got some kind of information. But like I said, I think it was a bit of a bombshell, and he should have really talked to the family first that he had that information, or send it on to the police like Ali did. Shay says, I've got an awful feeling that Jay's being cut on the leg was something to do with LK. I feel LK knows where the femoral artery is. Just my opinion. Shay, I think you're right. And this was someone who said in a live that basically, you've got to prove it, what happened to Jay, which I thought very, very worrying. And the way he said it was kind of sinister. Thank you, Shay. As he says, hi, Marvin. Lucy's lying through her teeth. According to where you were his friend, and he even says it. So was Brandon? The truth will come out. Yeah, I think it will, because they cannot hide on it, to be honest with you. I think we're all, a few more people. Part 2, Lucy was in Malta with Tom H and his mates there, pictures with timestamps, then placing them all together. So Lucy never went with Jay and Brad. Brandon was also there beforehand. That's a very, very good point. Very good point. Very good point. So a lot of people, Carly, think this was actually planned before. Carly says, Lucy says about getting a taxi, then change it to putting a post up on Facebook, getting a lift to the police station. Good point. They changed the narrative because they wanted it to be perfect in their eyes, for us to keep thinking that nothing had happened, which we know it did. Many red flags were raised. I believe there's some truth in what he says, and like you say, he's straight talking. He knows what's happened, what happened to Jay. But I would say being silenced, definitely, Joe. As for Ayab being in Ireland, remember seeing it said he was in Dublin. Joe stated this too. Sorry to bring his name up. I know people think he was crazy, but he did say a lot of the truth as well. Yeah, he did. He did. He was straight talking, and I admired him for that, Joe. I did, but he messed up. I think I got to be honest with you. I think he got carried away. Sometimes with Dan O'Keefe, he doesn't think before he talks. You've got to be so careful, very, very careful. Some of these replies. I think we're all up to date, people, on this. I'll try and get a live going later. PGM, thank you very much. User DS6, Lindsay, great messages. Rachel, Chadwick, Yvonne, Caroline, Huzu, thank you very much. Pinky Angel, Duncan, Joe Jones, Pink Angel, Ian, great messages. Tell the truth. Bianca, Lindsay, Huzu, Caroline, Joe Jones, Carney, Huzu, David Miller, Tell the Truth, Rachel Chadwick, Lindsay, Pinky Pup, Kerry, Izzy Stevenson, Share, Serendipity, Samantha, Judith, Huzu, Madeline Post, Monica, Ian, Bianca, Happy Nomad, Pauline Smith. Thank you very much indeed. Take care, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment and follow the channel. Appreciate you. Much more coming and a live possibly later. Cheers.